Twins of Reddit, what is your most awkward / awesome wrong twin story? Identical twin here attending the same college as my twin brother. I was walking with my girlfriend at the time during my freshman year, and another girl approached me and said, "Oh, so this is why you didn't want to call me back." I didn't know this girl, but it also didn't register at the time that she was referring to my twin, who I assume ghosted her. I told this girl she must be mistaken, and she says, "No, I know it's you, we met in the dorms." And then it clicked for me. So I explained that she was confusing me for my twin brother, but the most awkward part is that she didn't believe a word I was saying and thought I was just using the twin story to try to get rid of her. I had her call me at the time and show her that my phone wasn't ringing and that she was calling my twin. My girlfriend was upset at first, but then basically realized the humor in the situation as it was unfolding. Had a buddy from the skate park who had a twin. This guy and I would always talk each other. One day I see him and walk up to him, "What's up, dipshit? The you dressed like that for? It's not gonna make your busted skate any better." "Excuse me. You go deaf too, dumbass." He gets in my face and starts asking what my problem is. I'm laughing the entire time thinking we're playing a game, until he shoves me hard. I fall backwards and look at him and yell, "Sean." The man. His face completely changed. "I'm Shane, dude. Sean's twin." I didn't know he had a twin. Next time I see Sean he cracks up, "Heard my brother almost beat your." My twin had recently joined the Navy and was at boot camp. I, on the other hand, was walking around the grocery store when a man came running up to me in a panic. He began to shout, "What in the are you doing here? You're going to go to federal prison." A bit shocked, I assumed it was just some crazy person, and started to back away, but he followed. So, I said, "Sir, I don't know what you're talking about." He then proceeded to say my twin's name and then I started laughing. He, still very panicked and now angry, asked why I thought this was funny. I explained I am such and such's twin. He didn't believe me until I finally pulled my ID out to prove I was who I said I was. He then apologized and explained he was her enlisting officer and was very concerned when he saw me. This was my dad's story, but he and my uncle look exactly alike, to the point where their wives of 2+ decades have confused them. When they were in college my dad was the lead in a show and my uncle came to see it opening night. My uncle saw his chance and, while my dad was in the bathroom, burst through the curtains and said, "That's it. I've had it. I can't work with these people anymore," and stormed off. The director was basically himself. BC nobody knew that my dad had a twin until my dad came back and, once he saw everyone's faces, basically said, "Yeah, my twin is coming tonight. He messed with y'all, right?" I'm a teacher and when I was student teaching there were twin girls. They were super cute and very hard to tell apart. I finally got to the point where I could tell which was which. One morning I confidently called them by their names, but they corrected me. I made note of what they were wearing and kept them straight the rest of the morning. Well, we were going over lessons and I call on Twinner. She began to cry and said, "I'm not Twinner, I'm Twin B." They decided that they were going to switch on us that morning, but then got upset when we called them the wrong name. We laughed so hard about it after the fact and their mom was appalled that they were already switching places in kindergarten. My grandparents were getting us ready for kindergarten. They put the wrong name tags on us but we did not notice. I was just sitting in class and all of a sudden the teacher goes, "My brother's name, you're in the wrong class." We had different teachers. She brings me to my brother's classroom, and takes him to hers. I was so scared I didn't say anything, and I felt like I did something wrong. After a few minutes I was so freaked out about being in an unfamiliar place and seeing all the strange faces I started crying. My brother's kindergarten teacher figured out what was wrong and sent us back to our real classrooms. Me and my twin are fraternal and look nothing alike. This was like the 3rd week of class. I transferred to my twin brother's university. By that point, he had already become friendly with a lot of people on campus, students and faculty alike, and was a face of the university. Meanwhile, I was a new student and didn't even know my way around. It's not really one event, but the culmination of it being a repeated thing when someone would wave at me, or run up to talk to me, and I'd have to explain that I'm not my brother. And that no, I'm not with you. Yes, I know we look exactly the same. And yes, I'm pretty certain I'm not my brother. It got bad enough that I had a knee-jerk reaction to just yell out I'm not my brother's name, whenever I noticed anyone trying to get my attention. Sometimes a conversation would go on 4 minutes of that person just non-stop talking before I finally got a voice in to tell them that I don't know who they are. My brother ended up telling me that he heard I bumped into these people and that they said I was really awkward, as if there's a non-awkward way out of that situation. I dated a girl whose twin was a life drawing model on campus. Guys were always approaching her when they mistook her and assumed that since they had seen her nude, she was easy. I'm not a twin, but I'm dating one. I came up behind my girlfriend's sister and smacked her. They share clothes sometimes and look exactly alike, especially from behind. It was so awkward that I have to say my girlfriend's name to confirm it's really her. I'm the brother of older, identical twins, and during the eldest's wedding, Jay, his twin, P, and myself were his groomsmen. As part of this, we were greeting guests as they arrived, shaking their hands and saying welcome, etc. It didn't take long for guests to start congratulating P on his wedding, causing him to laugh and correct them, at first. A lot of J's wife's family were from overseas, so they certainly hadn't met P before and may not have even known that Jay had a twin, so once they started arriving, it became a constant stream of people congratulating P on his wedding. Eventually he stopped correcting them and just slightly awkwardly saying thanks. Had a co-worker who had kids 5 years before his twin. He started looking so much older, people just assumed he was an older brother. Guys at the gym would come up to him thinking he was the other brother and tell who he looked like. Other way around, too, guys would come up to his brother and tell him he looked great thinking it was my friend. The difference was crazy. I've got a twin who works at Starbucks. I always get an employee discount. My sister worked at Walmart for a few weeks before I started working there too. We had a few fun moments. The first one was my first day. She had an earlier shift and just as I was going to go in the back door she was coming out. So no one knew she was a twin, and here was an identical person trying to go through the door at the same time. Without think I yelled, "We are never supposed to be in the same place at the same time," then I ran away. Everyone was freaked out. My other favorite thing to do was to mess with people she had just helped. In electronics. They would ask, "Hey, didn't I just see you?" And I'd answer, "No, I've been here all day." It was fun. Edit, thanks for the silver. You should check out the documentary 3 Identical Strangers. The first 20 minutes or so are one of the craziest versions of this kind of thing ever. This isn't the wrong twin story you probably meant, but it's mine, lol. So my twin and I are fraternal. We don't look alike at all. He's a guy, I'm a girl, so there is that too. So we are at an arcade place, they have laser tag. My brothers and I are waiting on a bench for our turn when a couple comes walking by, stops and asks, "Are you guys twins?" I jump up excited saying yes, finally someone realizes we are twins, how awesome. Their faces are completely blank. My twin goes, "No, I think they meant me and younger brother." So like I said, we don't look anything alike. Also I'm 5'5" and my twin is 6'1". Lots of times people ask, "Are you all actually related?" So that's my wrong twin story, lol. I'm a nanny. Took care of 7-year-old identical boys, names started with D and B, after school. One day they decided to wear the same clothes to see who they could trick. When they got off the bus they tried to get me to tell them apart. I stalled, but having them stand side by side so I could really look at their faces. After less than a minute they started elbowing each other. Then one said, "B, stop," and they both knew the gig was up. In my school, we do punches, aka little hole punches in a card, and if you get 10 punches, you get a reward. So my math teacher gives me a punch if she calls me by my twin's name. So she called me by my twin's name, then she is like, "Oh, gotta give you a punch," then said, "Is this your desk, twin's name?" I corrected her again and ended up getting a lunch party. She didn't even have my twin. It has happened at least 6 times this year.